name is Chris, and welcome back to the play-by-play version of the NASCAR iRacing 2003 career season for today's Sirius 400 at the Michigan International Speedway. This will be the second to last race that we're going to be using this iconic Fox intro, so we'll enjoy it while we can, because here soon we won't have it, unfortunately. But before we jump into today's race, let's take a look at the point standings. We have Zachary Smithly still as the points leader, with Jeff Gordon following suit in second, Ryan Newman in third, Ricky Rudd in fourth, Jimmy Johnson in fifth, Jeff Green sixth, Matt Kenseth in seventh, Bill Elliott in eighth, Kurt Busch in ninth, and Jeff Burton rounds out the top 10. Last week's winner, Dale Jarrett sits in 16th. So today we're going to see if he can maybe notch a second win, or if someone will grab their first one of the season, or who will become a new multi-time winner. Maybe it'll be Dale Jarrett, maybe it'll be Jeff Gordon, maybe it'll be who knows. But the only way to find out is by going on ahead and jumping to the starting lineup for the start of today's race. So here we are on the starting lineup, and let's go on ahead and get through it. So in row number 1, you'll find Ricky Craven grabbing his first pole of the season with Jeremy Mayfield, who did not have a good run at Pocono last time out, starting in second. In row number 2, you'll find Bobby Labonte and Jerry Nadeau. Row 3, it is last week's winner Dale Jarrett, and to his outside, Jeff Burton. Row 4, it is Tony Raines and Kyle Petty. Row 5, it is the two drivers that had a really good race last time out of Pocono, Mark Martin and Larry Floyd, who actually grabbed a top 10 at Pocono. Row 6, you'll find Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick. Row 7, you'll find Harvick's teammate Steve Park and Casey Mears to his outside. Row 8 will be Tony Stewart and Ward Burton. Row 9, it is John Andretti and Terry Labonte. Row 10 is Dave Blaney and Terry's teammate Jeff Gordon. Row 11 today, you'll find rookie Jamie McMurray with Rusty Wallace, who almost came close to a win last time out of Pocono, to his outside. Row 12, it is Greg Biffle and Jeff Green, who's been on a good run as of late. Row 13, it is Michael Waltrip, who isn't on a good run as of late, and Matt Kenseth to his outside. Row 14, it is Dale Earnhardt Jr. and DEI teammate Robbie Gordon. Row 15, it is the first race for Shelby Howard in the number 27, with Sterling Marlin to his outside. Row 16, you'll find Johnny Benson, who's had a string of decent runs as of late, and Elias Allard to his outside. Row 17, it is Joe Nemechek, and third in points, Ryan Newman. Row 18, it is fourth in points, Ricky Rudd and Ken Schrader to his outside. Row 19, it is Kurt Busch and Bill Elliott. Row 20, it is Bobby Hamilton Jr., who is also making his first start of the season. And to his outside, it is Jimmy Spencer, who has run very, very well here in the past. Then in row 21, you will find Kenny Wallace and Jason Keller, who looks like this will be his last race for now, as we're heading off to Sonoma next time out. And it doesn't seem like Jason Keller is going to compete at Sonoma, but we'll see. And round out the field in row 22, for the second week in a row and the second race running, is points leader Zachary Smithly. He didn't have a good qualifying at Pocono, didn't have a good qualifying here, so maybe something will change maybe in the race today, just like it did back at Pocono. And then we have 6 DNQs. We have Mike Skinner in the 4, Robodine in the 11, Christian Fittipaldi in the 33, Derek Cope in the 37, Todd Bodine in the 54, and Kerry Earnhardt in the 83. Mike Skinner and Todd Bodine are the big names, especially Todd Bodine, because this is the first race this season that he is going to miss. And Kerry Earnhardt actually almost was able to make it in. That's if Jason Keller didn't put up a better lap time than Kerry Earnhardt did. So unfortunate for Kerry, and maybe we'll see him later on, but just very unfortunate. But those are the 3 big names. Then we take a look at the track information. So the pit window should be around lap 22 to 29. Tires will be around lap 20 to 23, but depending on how good you take care of them, you can extend that a few more laps, or if you kill them pretty soon, or pretty quickly rather, you might not be able to do it on one stop, and you might have to do 2 stops like a lot of these drivers did back at Pocono. And fuel, on the other hand, you will be able to make it to the end of the pit window, which is lap 29. However, if you filled your car up with less amount of fuel all the way to lap 29, or without getting to the 29 laps, or if you burn off too much fuel during these formation laps, you probably will make it to halfway. Maybe a little bit past it, but around lap 24 to 29 is about where the fuel strategy will be. And Michigan is very, very similar to Auto Club in a lot of ways, so will we see a lot of differing strategies? Will we see drivers possibly who don't normally compete at the front today? And in all honesty, well, we have some really good racing, just like we did back at Auto Club, so maybe we will. And the theme since essentially the Coca-Cola 600 is strategy. Ever since Coca-Cola 600, strategy has been the name of the game for drivers getting the win. It worked for Zachary in the Coca-Cola 600 and even at Dover. It worked for Dale Jarrett last time out at Pocono. So here today at Michigan, we're going to see if anybody's going to pull off some strategy and maybe make that work for them. And obviously the question we've been asking this entire time this season, will we have a new winner or a new multi-time winner? Well, we're going to find out here today, but for the second to last time, let's go ahead and send it up to our good old pals, Mike Joy, Larry Mack, and DW to give us the command and lead us to the green flag for the start of today's race. Take it away, boys.
We go to the road course at Sonoma next week. Last super speedway race on Fox for 2003. Let's get it going.
DW, my last chance. 200 miles an hour to turn one. Last oval. Reach up there and pull them belts tight one more time.
Baby, I'm up on the wheel. I'm getting ready. Boogity, 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 boys. Get some move.
An incredible start for Ricky Rudd will allow him to lead the first lap, and that's not Ricky Rudd, that's Ricky Craven. That allows him to lead lap number 1 of tonight's race. And you see behind him the jostling going on for second place between Jeremy Mayfield, Bob Labonte, and Jerry Nadeau. Jeremy Mayfield trying to have a good run today after finishing last time out at Pocono. There you see Dale Jarrett dealing with some rookies, and even Jeff Burton in the 99. Larry Foyt in the 14, battling hard with Tony Raines in the 74. Larry Foyt's going to try to maybe put together some good races after having a string of good runs as of late, especially with that top 10 last time out at Pocono. You see further back there, you see Steve Park in the 31 ahead of teammate Kevin Harvick. Kyle Petty is doing pretty good. He's on the outside right behind Dale Jarrett, but it shouldn't be too bad. Tony Stewart's looking to have a good race today as well after not finishing well at Pocono. Same for Harvick. They do get caught up on the outside a little bit, but ain't nothing too bad. Actually, you see back there, look at Zachary in the 80. He's a little bit farther back there, but he's already made his way up past a lot of cars from last place, so he's solidly at the top 30 right now. Foyt's kind of running the higher line. Some drivers are following suit. Since this track is very, very similar to Auto Club, jostling for position is going to be key, but also trying to figure out what line is going to work, as they're almost going 4 wide down the front straightaway. As there you see Zach entering the frame, getting past Michael Waltrip in the 15, and now he's joined this gaggle of cars. Look at them all over the place. Zachary just all the way to the bottom. Nice shot of the cars heading down the back straightaway. Multiple 3-wide situations going on. Gotta watch out for Zach and Rusty. Rusty was not happy with the move that Zach put on him at Pocono that unfortunately cost both of them the win and gave it to that 88 car, Dale Jarrett, up the ways the win. Looks like nothing happened between the two of them. Look further ahead as Ricky Rudd actually is on pit road. What in the world happened to him? I think we might have a replay of what ended up happening to Ricky Rudd, and we are getting reports that we do have a replay of what happened to Ricky Rudd. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. See what happened to Ricky. This was a few laps ago. Up on the outside. Oh, and Newman just bounced off of him and put him in the wall. Unfortunately, that slowed up Ken Schrader a lot. But also, as we were looking at that, there was a big stacker coming off of turn 2 yet again, which is now separated the entire pack of cars into 2 small packs, or 2 big packs, I should say. You see Casey Mears is out ahead of him, but look at the drivers that are now stuck in this giant pack of cars. It's Kevin Harvick, Kurt Busch, Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Green, Robbie Gordon even, who got a top 10 last time out at Pocono. Matt Kenseth's back in there. Elliott Sadler's in there. Bill Elliott's in that pack. Man, a lot of big names, a lot of fast cars stuck in this pack. Ryan Newman all the way in the back with Marlin as well. Hasn't been good for Ryan Newman as of late, but maybe it'll start to turn around. Who knows? We look a little bit further ahead. You see Zach making his way through the field. With him having the points lead, it's a big deal that he tries to get as many positions as he possibly can as he gets around the Petty Enterprises cars of John Andretti and Kyle Petty. He keeps his march forward. You see Jeff Burton, get to the inside of Nadu to get third position off of him and also force him into the path of Tony Raines and Bobby Labonte. You see Tony Raines trying to maybe make a move going into turn 3. It might be possible. He kind of pushes Nadu up the track a little bit, but it's going to be just enough for Raines to get the spot, or will it? He got a little squirrely in the middle of 3. But that don't matter. He got the spot. But now Nadu and Bobby Labonte are side by side for now the 5th position. You see Nadu coming back up on the outside. Bobby Labonte trying to maybe look in the middle. Doesn't go for it quite yet. Oh, he thought about it. He's still thinking about it. He's still going to go for it. Kind of gets pushed up the track a little bit, but not enough. So Tony Raines holds that position. Bobby Labonte will hold 5th. Jerry Nadu will hold 6th. And Mark Marr will hold 7th. Now we look further ahead to Ricky Craven. Still controlling the race. Still ahead of Jerry Mayfield in the 19. Craven, who won the pole, and Mayfield, who started second in tonight's race. Both drivers had a really good session in practice and in qualifying to put them up the field. We don't want to jinx it quite yet, but this could be Ricky Craven's chance to get the job done and maybe even win, but it also could be the same thing for Mayfield. Look at the amount of time that Mayfield's gaining, but also watch out for that 99 Citgo Ford of Jeff Burton back there. Jeff Burton, he's not known to spoil parties, but he is known to get involved in a lot of these battles, and sometimes, past 2 times even, he's come out on top. Because Jeff Burton has won 2 races thus far this season. Will he make it a 3rd today, or will it go to one of these 2 up ahead? But we got 41 laps really to settle it, but with Mayfield closing the gap on Ricky Craven, that'll be big. See Jeff Burton back there. He might not be gaining as much time as he may want, but he's probably wanting these 2 up here to fight, and with Mayfield closing the gap on Craven, that might end up just happening. Craven runs a little bit lower than Mayfield does. Mayfield gets a better run, a better exit out of turn 4. But down the front straightaway, we just see Craven pulling a little bit on Mayfield. 10 laps are down, 40 are left. Looking further back, there's Jeff Burton, Tony Raines, Mark Martin, Nadu, Johnson. See Zach is up there passing Steve Park ahead of Bobby Labonte, ahead of Kyle Petty. Nice little battle going on for the 8th position. Seems like Zach's going to hold it ahead of Petty and Labonte, and even Steve Park in the 31, who's having a pretty good run so far today in that singular wireless Chevrolet. Zach ran a little bit higher. Ooh, I think him and Labonte made a little bit of contact, but not too much. Just a little tap in the door. Zach may not have known that Labonte was getting a run. That kind of forced his hand a little bit. You see Mark Martin, the 6, having a really good, solid run inside the top 5. Same with Tony Raines, the 74. But they got a ways to go until they catch that 99 to Jeff Burton. But also, up at the front, the gap between the 2 leaders has closed a lot. Craven will still hold it for this 1 lap, but there's Jeff Burton in frame. These 2 better watch out, because Jeff Burton, he's getting quicker. He's getting faster. See Mayfield, he's closing that gap ever so slightly on Craven in the 32. So it kind of runs, each driver runs in 1 and 2. Seems like Craven ran a little bit lower. Mayfield ran a little bit higher. Craven was more towards the middle line, and Mayfield was more towards the higher line, and that's gave him a really good run down the back straightaway. Can he carry the momentum going into 3 and 4? Looks like he will. He's going to dive into the corner. Craven runs a little bit higher. Mayfield almost hits him, but he grabs the lead in turns 3 and 4. Mayfield is the new race leader, and that was almost a disaster with how close those 2 got in the middle of 3 and 4. Mayfield out front of Michigan. What a turnaround from last week at Pocono. Ran last pretty much all race long and is now leading 1 week later at Michigan. And there's nothing Craven's got for the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield either, so this pretty much is going to Mayfield, but like we said before, the 99 of Jeff Burton, he's closing the gap more so on Craven than he is on Mayfield as of right now, because Mayfield's got a faster car than Craven. Craven can't keep up. But with that battle, as a matter of fact, Jeff Burton has actually joined or entered the frame. But it's probably gonna come down to pit stops. Who knows? There you see Burton. Looks like Burton's trying to savor his tires a little bit. Tony Raines running in 4th. See Mark Barn in 5th. Nadu in 6th. Johnson 7th. Zachary runs 8th with Bobby Labonte right behind him in 9th. Oh, God, they got close once again. They got really, really close as they head down the back straightaway. This could be the 8th spot for Bobby Labonte. However, we are coming up on lap 16. And Labonte will grab 8th over Zach. So Zach falls back down at 9th. Let's go ahead and do a one-lap tribute to the late Greg Biffle. There was the one-lap tribute to Gray Biffle. Still miss him every single day. But we'll keep his name in our memories and in his honor. Continue doing the lap 16 tribute probably all the way till the end of the season. Maybe even the next season, it just depends. But still out front is Jeremy Mayfield in the 19. He's actually pulled away from Craven quite a bit in the last couple of laps. Maybe coming out of turn 4, we might be able to see the gap that Mayfield has put down on Craven. Yeah, look at the gap between him and Craven now. Craven's about half a straightaway almost behind Mayfield. And there you see Jeff Burton. He's closing the gap on Craven. But also Mayfield's pulled away from Jeff Burton. So the top 3 have pretty much remained the same. It's about the same gap from 1st to 2nd as it is from 2nd to 3rd. But Mayfield's actually putting on a really good showing. He's actually maintaining good pace up at the front. All it's really going to come down to now is just what he can do on his pit stop, and he's got a few laps really to think about it. But his fuel should be able to make it, I would have to say, another 12 laps. Look a little bit further back. Craven is losing some time to Jeff Burton, the 99. Burton has actually closed the gap on Craven. Craven's having a good showing so far today, even if he isn't leading. But yeah, look at the gap between him and Burton. It's about the same gap that it was from him to Mayfield before in a lap or two, where Mayfield actually ended up passing Jeff Burton. So look further back, Johnson's actually gotten around Bobby Labonte, and look at this pack of cars that Zachary is having to fend off. Zachary's tires might be going away because he is fighting hard to keep Kyle Petty in the 45 behind him all the way till the pits. Zachary is running a little bit higher. Whoa, the blocks of Kyle Petty. Holy cow. Zach pulled off a lot of those blocks back at Pocono, and man, were they terrifying then, and they're just as terrifying now. Holy schmoly. But after that block, Michael Waltrip trying to maybe get a little piece of the action. Trying to maybe make something happen here. See Kyle Petty trying to maybe look for a move on down the back straightaway. Zachary, even though it's not towards the end of the race, every position and every point matters for Zach, and maybe it's just the tires is his main concern. He doesn't want to lose too many positions until the first pit stop. He gets a little bit tight coming out of turns 3 and 4. He holds the position. Here comes Andretti in the 43. Jeff Gore on the 24 is making a charge. Zach goes in the middle. I think Petty actually caught the wall a little bit. They're about to go 4 wide in 1 and 2. No, they won't. Gordon backs out of it. But Zach and Andretti will be side by side coming off of turn 2. And Zach just kind of has to yield to Andretti. Now here comes Jeff Gordon, Zach's team owner, boss, and the man that's chasing him down in the points. Gordon kind of runs Zach a little bit higher. Gordon takes the spot. Zach's going to try to maybe follow suit. In the corner. Oh, contact between the two. Zach sideways. He's still sideways. Oh, they make contact, and around goes Cal Petty in the 45. Spinning in the grass. No caution. The caution does not fly, and that is essentially Cal Petty's race over. Zach and Petty made a little bit of contact that got Zachary loose. And when he tried correcting it, he came back down the track into Kyle Petty, and that sent Kyle Petty spinning through the grass. You can even see it through this camera. Look at the damage on the left side, right underneath the 80. It's a lot of damage. There's a giant hole that is formed at the bottom of the car. That was a massive hit, too. And they're coming up on pit stops as well, but Zach lost a ton of time, a ton of positions. And that is something they didn't want to lose. Look at all the positions he lost. All the way up to Steve Park is all the positions he lost. Already lost a position to Andretti and Gordon. He lost a lot more. He's actually up ahead. Jeff Burton actually got around Ricky Craven when that was all going on. So now Burton's actually going to go after Jeremy Mayfield in the 19. We're almost at the halfway point of today's race. There is a car a little bit further up the road that might be Kyle Petty in the 45. But Kyle Petty's good run has essentially been dashed away after contact between him and Zach. Surprisingly, there was no caution. I'm actually kind of shocked by that. I thought there would have been a caution for that. But since he was pretty much down off the track, he was mainly in the grass. That was one of the main reasons, I guess, they didn't throw the caution, as it seems like, yeah, NASCAR Tower just didn't bother throwing the caution because he was off the racing line, and he was off the race track, and he was in the grass. So, I mean, whatever they want. I mean, maybe it should have been better to throw a caution, but I don't make the rules. I don't make them. However, Mayfield still leads. He's still pulling away from Jeff Burton behind. Got all the other drivers towards the back of the field. And McMurray, Waltrip, all the way back here. There's Dale Jarrett in the 88 fighting Casey Mears. There's Zachary fighting Terry Labonte in the 5. Seems like Zach is trying to mitigate some of the damage. It seems like he still might be able to pass people. He hasn't lost that much time. He hasn't lost that many spots. As we are now halfway through this race. As Jeremy Mayfield continues to lead, but now pit stops are going to become a huge factor because now these drivers are within the 5 laps left to field window. So the main question is, who is going to be the first one to come down pit road, and who will be the first one to start the cycle? But also, you don't want to start it too early because you don't know how fast these drivers will be, but you don't want to start it too late and lose more time. Case in point with Zachary back at Pocono, he waited until pretty much the halfway point after Buddy had pitted the first time. Is actually Robbie Gordon's down pit road. I wonder what happened to Robbie Gordon. Actually, I think we may have, and it looks like we have a replay of actually what happened to Robbie Gordon. So let's go on ahead and get that popped up on the screen and see what happened to Robbie. Oh, him and Zach made oh man, Zach and Robbie made contact. Zach got tight in 3 and 4, bumped Gordon and sent him into the outside wall, and that explains the damage that he had. Man, oh man, that is not good. And actually, as a matter of fact, I think Zach actually came down pit road last lap, as I think Mayfield's going to come down pit road as well. And it looks like he is. Jeremy Mayfield is coming on to pit road. There is Zach on pit road. He's going to use a fast repair and get his car all fixed up. So it's Mayfield, Burton, Craven, Tony Rain stays out with Mark Martin, Nadu, and Labonte. See Jeremy Mayfield on pit road. So now Tony Rains is out front. 4 cars stayed out with him. There's Johnson, the 5th one. There's definitely more. Oh, yep, there's another one right there. That's Steve Parker, the 31. Yeah, a lot of drivers were stayed out. They're going through all the camera angles. It looks like Tony Raines is going to make a trip down pit lane as he heads towards the bottom of the racetrack. So is Mark Martin. Looks like they're all going to come down. And here they come. Tony Raines, Mark Martin, Jerry Nadeau, Bobby Labonte, Jimmy Johnson comes down. I think Steve Park back there might be coming down too. You see Tony Raines on pit road. Jamie McMurray, Rusty Wallace, where Burton came in. Michael Waltrip is staying on the racetrack. Larry Foyt, I think we just saw for a split second. Yep, he's staying out. Looks like Shelby Howard, I think, was staying out. A few others. Trying to see all the other drivers that came down pit road. There's a lot of drivers that came down pit road this time. See Kyle Petty in the 45 heading down. There's Jeff Burton, the 99. Robbie Gorham behind him. All the drivers down pit road. There you see Tony Raines leaving. Jeremy Mayfield's out front. Tony Raines is going to follow behind. So look a little bit further ahead in some of these drivers. Actually, I think Jeff Green and Dave Blaney were a couple of the drivers that hadn't pit. Obviously, Michael Waltrip hasn't. Here comes Waltrip down pit road. He's got Larry Foyt coming in behind him. There you see Zachary in the 80. He already pitted. He was the first one to come in. I think that's Shelby Howard coming in. Yep, Shelby Howard, Johnny Benson, Jeff Green, Dave Blaney, Kenny Wallace, Ricky Rudd, Jason Keller, Jimmy Spencer, and Ryan Newman all come in. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think, yeah, the 14 of Larry Foyt actually led that lap before Jeremy Mayfield actually passed him and before Michael even got to the start-finish line. That's why it changed 3 times in a short span of time. But now Jeremy Mayfield is back out front with 21 laps to go, but look at Jeff Burton lurking in the distance. That's going to be the main thing for Mayfield to look out for, because Mayfield has a fast car. Mayfield could actually win this race. However, all Mayfield has to do is just savor his tires. Savor his tires to the best of his ability. Stay out ahead of Jeff Burton. And possibly by the end of the race, he will be able to win and have a 0 to hero moment, as a matter of fact, after his last place finish at Pocono. But I think even him finishing second will be big for Mayfield. Jeff Burton continuing to close that gap, but it's little by little. It's not big margins. But Jeff Burton, definitely on fresher tires, is faster than Mayfield on fresher tires. Mayfield, as a matter of fact, on the start, lost the second position to Bobby Labonte off the ensuing start of the race. So knowing his tires and how they are coming off of a pit stop, that could be big. To see Kevin Harvick, who's actually ahead of Mayfield in the 19. Burton's closing. Burton's closer. He's closer this lap than he was 2 laps ago. So Mayfield's got to watch out. That 99 car, it's fast. Burton's car is definitely faster than Mayfield's. Jeff Burton's already a multi-time winner this season. He won at Darlington and he won at California. Can he make it his 3rd one of the season here today in Michigan? Or will Jeremy Mayfield hold on and add his name to the list of winners of the season, joining his teammate Bill Elliott, who won last time at Atlanta, or earlier this season, I should say, back at Atlanta. But not only does Mayfield have 18 laps left in the race, but he's also got to fend off a hard-charging Jeff Burton. But Mayfield definitely wants to become the 10th different winner of the season. But Jeff Burton might spoil that. The gap is closer, 17 to go. Mayfield knows what's at stake, but also so does Jeff Burton. Burton is close in the championship to Zachary. He knows this win will get him closer to him. But Mayfield knows that this win could change his season. He's had a pretty decent season, but he hasn't been there as much. Oh my, we look a little bit further back. You see Tony Raines and Ricky Craven going at it. They got to deal with the lap car of Kyle Petty. Mark Martin could be joining the frame. Jerry Nadeau just behind them with Bobby Labonte, Jimmy Johnson, John Andretti. There's Jeff Gordon, who's going to gain a heap amount of points on Zach because Zach is so far in the back of the field. Rusty, Tony, Burton, Biffle. There's Larry Foyt, Michael Waltrip, Labonte, Casey Mears, Shelby Howard, Johnny Benson. There you see Zachary just behind Joe Nemechek in the 25. He is just outside the top 20 right now. Well, but look at the other drivers behind him. Bill Elliott, Dale Jarrett, last week's winner, Kenny Wallace, Keller, Elliott Sadler, Kurt Busch, Dave Blaney, Jeff Green, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Bobby Hamilton Jr., Ken Schrader, there's Rudd, but he's multiple laps down. Marlin, Kenseth, Spencer, and there's Ryan Newman, and then there's Kevin Harvick. And look at the gap now, coming to 15 to go between Mayfield and Burton. Burton has closed up so much more as we were going through the field. Burton may be in striking distance. I want to say in about a few more laps, Burton might actually be closer than ever to Mayfield, and he could snatch this win away from the 19. But the main question will be, will Mayfield fight him off? Will he try to fight back if Burton passes him? Will Burton give him any leeway if he does so? Will Burton make it easier? Will he make it difficult? Will Mayfield make it easier? Will he make it difficult? Well, we're going to find out within 14 laps if he's going to, because Burton is still closing. They're not catching Kevin Harvick. So if they're not catching Kevin Harvick, Mayfield is definitely slower. He's definitely used up some tires. Or Burton is just a faster car. But from the beginning of the race, Mayfield was a faster car than Burton. But obviously, Mayfield isn't going to back down and give it to Burton. Oh, he got a little bit loose. He got a squirrely in 3 and 4. Burton's going to gain a little bit more time on Jeremy Mayfield. 13 to go. Mayfield just needs picture-perfect corners for the last 13 laps. He cannot make any mistakes. He has to keep it in front of Jeff Burton the entire time. Run his line. Take the air away from Burton. Force Burton into a mistake, but also Burton has to force Mayfield into a mistake. Maybe scare him a little bit. Not terrify, but scare him. Act like you're going for a move, but not actually go for the move. Or Burton can just get a good run in 3, take it to the outside, and close that gap even more. And that's exactly what Burton did as we're heading to 12 laps to go. Burton got a really good run in the middle of turns 3 and 4. He may try to put that together in 1 and 2. He might try to do the exact same thing. See, Burton, he actually runs a little bit higher. He's actually doing what Mayfield did to Ricky Craven earlier in the race. And Burton's gaining on Mayfield. Look at the gap. It's so close. Mayfield just can't mess up 3 and 4. Kinda did. Oh, Burton got a better run. Here comes Burton. To the inside for the lead. Side by side, down the front they go. Can Burton clear Mayfield? He does. Jeff Burton is out front of Michigan. And will Mayfield fight him back? They head into turn 1. It doesn't look like there's any competition between the two. Burton was actually slower in 1 and 2. Mayfield actually got a better run. Mayfield's going back at him. Mayfield is going to fight Burton to the end, it looks like. He's going to do to Burton what he did to Craven. No, he doesn't, but he forces Burton up to the outside into the marbles, catching him off guard a little bit. But maybe that actually worked for Burton. More grip in the tires and a better run on the outside. Mayfield has to lead for a little bit, but Burton will take it right back, coming to 10 to go. And will Mayfield try it again in 1 and 2? Oh, he tries. And it's not going to be enough. He actually slides back in behind Jeff Burton. He loses time. Was that all she wrote for Mayfield? Or will Mayfield try to get him back again? It's like Burton's actually pulling him on the straightaway, so I don't think Mayfield's going to attempt to get to him. Mayfield's tires might be done. Robbie Gorin is actually catching Mayfield right now, so that's going to put a wrench in Mayfield's efforts to catch Burton with 9 to go. Here comes Robbie Gorin to the outside of Mayfield. The enter turns 1 and 2. Robbie Gorin is he going to make it difficult on Mayfield? Is he going to pass him? He's a lap down. He gets a nice run on the outside. He actually passes Mayfield. Not for position, but he passes Mayfield. And Jeff Burton is running away with the lead, but also now with a lap car in between him and Mayfield, that makes it all the better. But Burton, he's pulling away. He's actually catching Kevin Harvick in the 29. They head down the front straightaway. 8 laps to go at Michigan. Jeff Burton trying to go to victory lane for the 3rd time this season. And get 1 win closer to Zachary Smithly's 4. And also gain more points on Zachary Smithly coming out of today's race. Jeff Burton is actually closing the gap on Kevin Harvick in the 29, something that Mayfield could not do, and maybe that has something to do with Mayfield maybe trying to save his tires, or he just maybe lost some speed. But Burton has been able to put together some good laps, but also Robbie Gordon and Mayfield, they're actually catching Jeff Burton back, so maybe something's wrong with Burton's car, but there's 7 laps left in this race. Burton's got to try to catch Harvick and pass him as fast as he can, because if he did get another camera angle, yep, there it is. Robbie Gordon and Mayfield are not becoming dots in the rearview mirror for Jeff Burton. As a matter of fact, they're staying close behind him. So with Robbie staying close behind Burton, and if Mayfield's staying behind Robbie Gordon as close as he is, well, he ain't going to be able to get out of the fight. Burton won't be able to shake Mayfield. But Mayfield might actually be slower coming out of these corners, as a matter of fact, because he might have to be lifting a lot more than usual. Burton actually gets to the inside of Kevin Harvick. Harvick realizes it. 6 to go. Does Harvick fight Burton? Harvick is going to go a lap down. He hasn't had a good string of races since Charlotte in the Coca-Cola 600. He concedes the spot, concedes the position, and there goes Burton. Now there's 2 cars in between Burton and Mayfield, but it seems like Mayfield is going to be able to even catch Robbie Gordon, as a matter of fact. Burton, on the other hand, he could just drive away and keep her going. It's a nice 3 and 4, and that's all he needed. Jeff Burton is having a really good run with coming to 5 to go here in Michigan. Jeff Burton might be one of those drivers where if you come to a big place or a big track, he'll show up and he'll let everybody know that he's going to try to take the win away from a lot of these drivers. He took it away from Michael Waltrip back at Darlington. And back at California, he ended up preventing Jimmy Spencer from taking his first win of 2003 and his first win with his new team at Ultra Everham Motorsports. As they come off turn 4, down the front straightaway with the crowd cheering him, 4 laps to go for Jeff Burton. Burton has pulled off really good tire saving strategy in both the first and second stint. He's pulled off good runs off these corners, going into turns 1 and 2 and going into 3 and 4, and even getting good runs off to extend the gap over the drivers behind him, and maybe even get closer to the drivers ahead. Burton comes out of turn number 4 once again. 3 to go for Jeff Burton. Going into the season, Jeff Burton was winless. He went the entire 2002 season without winning. Meanwhile, his teammates, Mark Martin, Kurt Busch, and Matt Kenseth all won a race. Well, earlier this year back at Darlington, Jeff Burton got his first win of 2003, and he was the first Roush driver to get a win. Then came his teammate at Talladega, and then came Jeff Burton at California. Jeff Burton, over the course of the first 15 races, has won 2 and is on course to win his 3rd race of the season and be essentially one of the drivers, combined with Zachary Smithly. If he wins today, both drivers will have won 7 races in the first 15 races of the season, which counts for pretty much half the season has gone to the number 80 and the number 99. And Jeff Burton is going to continue his good run here today in Michigan, because right now he can see the white flag one more time here in Michigan for Jeff Burton, the 99. His last win before his previous one at Darlington was Phoenix in 2001. He went well over a season without a win, and come Darlington earlier this year, he got his first. He got another one at California, and here today, he's going to get his third at Michigan. Racing just behind his teammate Matt Kenseth, who is still searching for his first win of 2003. Jeff Burton is going to round turns 3 and 4 one more final time. He's going to see the crowd. He's going to go down the front straightaway. He's going to go from 2 wins on the season to 3. Jeff Burton wins the Sirius 400 at Michigan. And that is now win number 3 on the season. He is now 1 win behind Zachary, since Zachary has 4. And with this win, Jeff Burton now catapults himself to the second most winningest driver of the 2003 season, just behind Zach. What an incredible performance by Jeff Burton. It doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't. But congratulations to Jeff Burton on the win. And congratulations to the entire 99 team for the job that they ended up getting. Just really good performance, and you couldn't really ask any more from that team. And you couldn't really ask any more for a better race. Heartbreak for Mayfield, but absolute amazingness and pure joy from Jeff Burton. And that's another win for him. But let's go ahead and take a look at the points, or not point standings. Take a look at the finishing results for today's race. So, obviously, Jeff Burton gets the job done. He wins today at Michigan, with Jeremy Mayfield following suit in second. Tony ranks to the top 5 in third. Ricky Craven finishes in fourth. Mark Martin in fifth. Bobby Labonte in 6th, Jeremy Nadeau in 7th, Jimmy Johnson's in 8th, Jeff Gordon finishes in 9th, and John Andretti finishes in 10th. So Jeff Gordon now will gain a lot of points on Zach, and we're going to find out why here in a minute. And then you have Jimmy McMurray in 11th, Larry Foyt 12th, Steve Park in 13th, Ward Burton in 14th, Rusty Wallace 15th, Michael Waltrip 16th, Shelby Howard in his first start finishes 17th, Tony Stewart in 18th, Greg Biffle in 19th, and Zachary Smithly finishes in 20th. So the points that Jeff Gordon will gain on Zachary coming out of today's race is 35 points. So the lead now has shrunk. And we'll find out how close it's going to be now between the two. Then we have Casey Mears finishing 21st, Terry Labonte 22nd, Johnny Benson 23rd, Joe Nemechek 24th, Bill Elliott in 25th, Jason Kellner in his last race for now in 26th, Dave Blaney in 7th, Dale Earnhardt Jr. 28th, Elliott Sadler in 29th, and Kenny Wallace in 30th. Then you got Pocono winner Dale Jarrett in 31st, Jimmy Spencer 32nd, Jeff Green in 33rd, Bobby Hamilton Jr. his first outing finishes 34th, Kurt Busch in 35th, Ken Schrader 36th, Ryan Newman 37th, Sterling Marlin 38th, Matt Kenseth 39th, and Robbie Gorn finishes in 40th. And then here are the last 3 drivers. Kevin Harvick 41st, Kyle Petty 42nd, and Ricky Rudd finishes in 43rd. Very unfortunate for those drivers, I must say. And because of those finishing results, well, the point standings has shaken up once again, if you can believe it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the point standings. So Zachary Smithly still remains the points leader coming out of Michigan by only 125 points over team boss Jeff Gordon in second, who also has broken the 2,000-point column with his own driver. Then you got Ryan Newman in third. Jimmy Johnson's now up to fourth, with Ricky Rudd down to fifth. Bill Elliott's in sixth. Jeff Burton finds his way up in seventh. Jeff Green's in eighth. Matt Kenseth in ninth. And Kurt Busch is 10th right now. Then you got Dale Earnhardt Jr. in 11th. Bobby Labonte in 12th, Jamie McMurray 13th, Michael Waltrip 14th, Kevin Harvick at 15th, Dale Jarrett in 16th, Tony Stewart 17th, Tony Raines is in 18th, Jeremy Mayfield up to 19th, and Rusty Wallace is 20th. You got Sterling Marlin in 21st, Mark Martin in 22nd, John Andretti in 23rd, Elliott Sadler 24th, Greg Biffle 25th, Johnny Benson, 26th. Terry Labonte, 27th. Kyle Petty in 28th. Jerry Nadeau, 29th. And Ricky Craven in 30th. Then in Kenny Wallace, 31st. Steve Park is in 32nd. Ryan Blaney's in 33rd. Joe Nemechek's in 34th. And Casey Mears is in 35th. Now here's the thing to get. It's just to let everybody know. Casey Mears is a part of the Go or Go Homers. And that's because the number 1 car, driven by Robbie Gordon, 32nd in owners. However, Steve Park, who is driving the number 31, the number 31 is 37th in owners. Keep that in mind for when we go out to Sonoma next time out. But let's take a look at the other drivers as part of the Go or Go Homers, minus Robbie Gordon, of course. So obviously it's Casey Mears, 35th. But Ward Burton in 36th. There's Robbie Gordon at 37th. Tub O'Dine in 38th. Larry Foyt in 39th. And Ken Schrader in 40th. Jimmy Spencer's in 41st. Mike Skinner, 42nd. Jack Sprague is in 43rd. Jason Keller's in 44th. Casey Atwood, 45th. Mike Wallace, 46th. Christian Fittipaldi, 47th. Kerry Earnhardt, 48th. Shelby Howard, 49th. Ernie Saller, 50th. Buckshot Jones at 51st. Derek Coe, 52nd. Scott Pruitt, 53rd. Kirk Shelmerdines at 54th. Bobby Hills and Juniors at 55th. Brett Bodine, 56th. And Morgan Shepherd in 57th. So 2 more drivers get added to the list of drivers that have competed this season. It is insane. We might hit 60 by season's end. Who knows? Who knows at this point? We're going to find out, though, trust me. But, yeah, that was an incredible race. It was a lot of fun. And I hope you guys enjoyed it just as much as I did commenting over it. But also, don't want to forget about this. The next race that we're going to be heading to, obviously, it's in Sonoma, California, for the Dodge Save Mart 350, the first road car race of the season, and also the last race that we're going to be using the iconic Fox intro for the season. For 2004, it will come back for the first race of the season. Actually, it might not even come back for the first race. We're going to find out, though, when we get there. But Sonoma will be the last race. We'll use the Fox intro, and we'll figure out what to do for the NBC portion of for the remainder of the season. So I will have a poll up or whatever later, actually going into next year, as a matter of fact, around the time that Sonoma gets finished, or around the time that Sonoma is about to be up. Gonna go on ahead and make a video, or not a video, but a post on if you guys want to do maybe custom like intros for the race, custom commands to the green flag, and seeing who will be down to do it and who really doesn't want to do it. And if you do, in all honesty, I'll tell you guys how to do it in the post, or I'll make a separate post in all honesty, just to tell you guys how to do it. Which I'll say this, if you guys do want to make, or, make a custom, command or whatever, where it's you saying it, or someone that that wants to say it or whatever, you can make a video on it for however many races or pretty much for the last portion of the season, I guess you could say, just for every single race. You don't have to do all of them if you don't want. You could do just one version per day, I guess you could say. Like, you don't have to do an entire video where you do all of them. Just like, if you want to do one race, specific race, that's fine. Tag me in it, and you guys may just see yourself pop up in the NBC portion of the season when we get to it. So that, I think, would be pretty cool. But also, just let me know if you guys want to do it. And if you guys are going to do it, just do that. Just do all that. So, yeah. Can't wait to see what you guys come up with. But also, when we get down to Sonoma, we'll see what we got, essentially, because after Sonoma, we're going to Daytona. I don't really know how to feel about that, but we'll see. We'll see. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification down below for some more. I'll see you all next Saturday for the in-car version of the Dodge Save Mart 350 at Sonoma. We'll see how it all kind of goes. Hopefully it goes well. But thank you all so much. I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day. Love you all so very much, and goodbye.